Oi, Rabbit, clear off! I hate those annoying little freak shows. There's always trouble when they're around. It didn't take long for those mentally unstable Rabbids to invade the Nintendo 3DS, and this new adventure, which is based around the time travel premise found in the Wii game Raving Rabbids Travel in Time, takes the franchise in a new direction. Gone are the many mini-games which most of the Rabbids outings are based around, and left in their place is a 2D side-scrolling platformer that's rendered in 3D. So it's a 3D 2D game? Or is it a 2D game with added 3D? Who knows? But whatever it is, it doesn't make much of the 3D functionality, and because of this it's sometimes easy to forget that the game is actually in 3D. Once in a while you'll catch a glimpse of some distant mountains in the background and be reminded of the new sense of depth and distance that the 3DS can create, but the experience here is mainly a straight 2D affair with a sprinkling of 3D added in for good measure. As with all Rabbid games, the storyline is pretty much nonsense. You play as a random Rabbid who, after causing havoc in a museum, ends up using a supercharged washing machine to quantum leap Sam Beckett style across 4 different time zones, including ancient Egypt and prehistory. Each of these worlds are decorated with scenery and enemy Rabbids stereotypical to the time zones, and rather than completely changing the hazards and obstacles in each new period, more often than not they're just reskinned to fit their new surroundings. The levels are not that amazing graphically and are pretty basic in terms of layout, although the multiple paths you can take mean that they are great for exploring and add some much needed replay value if you want to collect all of the coins and rubber duckies which are dotted around the levels. Trampolines, slippery slopes and dangling balls which can be grabbed onto let you bounce, slide and swing around levels, and at some points you will zip around at a speed close to that of Sonic the Hedgehog. Boxes containing coins and the mischievous Rabbids which inhabit each time period can be thwacked with a quick press of the X button, and while the boxes will sometimes hold coins and even life replenishing toilet roll, yep, toilet roll, go figure, defeating the Rabbids will award you with pieces of clothing which you can use to customise your bad boy bunny in the fitting room. Your Rabbid can also collect power-ups like a suit of armour that makes you invincible for a limited time, and also a little helicopter hat that helps you jump higher, also for a limited time. Side-scrolling platformers can often be ruined by lousy controls, so it's a good job that in Rabbids 3D the control system is pretty much flawless. You can effortlessly jump around the levels and none of the movement feels stiff or fiddly, and this makes the game an absolute pleasure to play. Using the thumbstick can make it easy to accidentally use a power stomp while jumping around, but if you use the D-pad to control your Rabbid instead, your experience here should be frustration-free. One problem I did notice though was with some of the 3D in the game. The small amount that is present doesn't always work perfectly. The best example of this is when your Rabbid loses a life and flies out of the screen, cracking the glass on its way. The 3D effect doesn't really work and you are left with a blurry ghost image which doesn't even work if you manage to cross your eyes in time. There are exceptions to this though, like in the Egypt levels where scarab beetles fly into shot and land on the glass. At these points it works perfectly and looks awesome, with the beetles seeming to protrude right out of the screen. Once each level is completed, you can replay them in a time trial mode which adds even more replayability, which is good because the game itself is actually rather easy, and it's very generous with the amount of extra lives it awards you. In reality, Rabbids is a very basic game, and everything you can see here has been done many times before. The thing is, even though it doesn't do much, what it does do, it does really well. And it's great to have an entertaining side-scrolling platformer available so close to launch day, and out of all the titles present at the moment, it's definitely up there as one of the best. And if platformers like this are your thing, then you'd be a raving Rabbid not to have it on your want list. Hey! What the?